I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about She's Been Thinking About Me.
Ooh.
You know, one of the things that's really hard for people is to truly believe or understand that there are many times that people will come in and out of our life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's bad timing. Sometimes they're not happy with the relationship or don't believe that it can change. Whatever. There's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes they could be overworked with, stressed with work or school or family or obligations. But there are many times that you may date somebody, it may not work out, but they're thinking about you and they come back. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a bond with somebody, it's really powerful. And in some ways, it's kind of always there. You know, they may not necessarily want to come back, but they'll usually think about you often or get reminded of you often. And when your ex is acting cold to you, or if you grew up in a home where you didn't feel love, it's very hard to believe that, right? So we got an email coaching today, and I thought this was an interesting one, and let's see what happened. This is from a guy that is in his early 30s and dating a woman right around the same age. Now, I'm going to be vague about his career, just so I don't make it too clear who it could be. But he's got a fairly professional career, but she is finishing her residency to be a doctor. So it's an important part to the situation, so I wanted to share that part, okay? So he says that they both met on a dating app in the summer of 2021. They dated for a while, but they never got serious because they lived a few hours away from each other. At the time, she wound up getting in a relationship with somebody else. Now, they ended up reconnecting last spring, going out on multiple dates and hitting it off fast. He says maybe too fast. We'd see each other about every weekend and the sex was great with us. Seeing each other for around 2 months until she ended it due to her saying that she was under too much stress graduating from residency in the summer. So, I've seen many people over the years in law school, med school, and it causes a lot of breakups. Mm-hmm. So that could be a real factor for wanting to end a relationship.
Right, and the stress levels. I've heard of many people in their residency, bailing at that point due to burnout. And the things that they put these doctors through is a lot.
Yeah. One of my best friends is a surgeon. I've known him my entire life. And so I remember seeing him working literally 120 hours a week.
Wow.
Never going home. I mean, he would stay at the hospital for days at a time. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to be good at it, you have to make it your life. Like, he is a surgeon. He's in charge of his ER. In order to get to that level, you have to really obsess about it to get that good.
And it's crazy how disciplined they are. I remember for my college experience, we had a rotation where we worked at the hospital alongside doctors in their residency and, different professions. And I was amazed that I was just there for 1 week and I was exhausted. I was like, I don't know if I could do this for much longer. But these people day in and day out, showing up early, staying after, really focusing that entire time. I'm like, wow.
And the exams, there's non-stop exams.
It's a lot.
And if they fail them, they get thrown out of the program. Sometimes they only get like one chance to retake it. I mean, the level of pressure and stress that people go through is unreal.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that causes a lot of breakups. He said, I started no contact after she broke up with me and eventually responded to eventually she responded to one of my Instagram stories in July saying she's been thinking about me. Probably took care of what she needed to in school. Things calmed down in her life. She felt a little bit more of herself and centered and gave her the time to think about him. Right? We ended up seeing each other one day towards the end of the month and had great sex again. However, she left the next week to go on vacation with her family for a couple of weeks. I tried not to over-text while she was away with her family, and with her just getting back this weekend, I didn't like having to use the phone and text while we are trying to reconnect while she is away, since after all, attraction is gained in person. And something didn't feel right to me.
Okay.
So, she's away with the family. He knows not to over-text, wants to set dates in person, but he also got a vibe that something wasn't right. What could it be? Let's find out. It's hard to explain why I felt something was off, but the energy she had when she would text me last spring when we first started seeing each other, again, wasn't as high as it was. So, what do you think that tells him?
Well, I think part of it is time. I think it's quite normal that she's not going to have that same level of excitement, especially if she's coming after this intense period of time with her studies and in school and progressing her career. You know, it could be partially exhaustion. She's also spending time with family, probably not having as much emotional energy to have that type of an interaction with him. No, I'm not reading too far into it so far.
He says, plus, only seeing each other once and having to wait a couple of weeks, I feel attraction can be lost. I did something I wasn't proud of and re-downloaded a dating app and found her on there with her account saying she is new here. So, did she have the app before they reconnected? Did she make it after they hooked up? Obviously, it would be a little bit more telling if she created a profile after they had been hooking up, talking again.
Right. Did they only see each other once?
I
So it
think they only
sounds
hooked up once before she went on the family trip.
I see. Okay.
But remember, they had hooked up for a while back in 2021. Okay. It felt like a punch to the gut, but I'd like to make things work with this girl. She did send messages asking if I missed her, and I would reply like you wouldn't believe, making me think if she was looking for an ego boost. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if she's in that stage where she's committed to him, quite obviously, if she's on the app. So I think she's in this stage of her life where she is dating people. She is open to different experiences and new connections. It doesn't sound like they have really settled that they're exclusive. We can see that his level of interest and hope in this relationship is a bit higher than hers, just based off of her responses and his level of anxiety from this.
Yeah. It's tough to say what she's thinking here. You know, part of me is wondering at this point if she only sees him as a casual option and not as somebody she's looking for something long-term and meaningful with.
Right. And even then, there is so much gray area. Can you start to develop feelings for a casual connection? Of course.
Sure.
Can you have those feelings and still be interested in dating other people and seeing what else is out there? Of course. So this to me seems more of a gray area rather than it is, you know, her maliciously trying to gain validation from him. It's probably true that she did miss him and was thinking about him. How much depth that has, we don't know.
Yeah, you can want more than one thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to a restaurant and want the steak, but also want the chicken. You can want more than one thing at once. Right?
Is he the steak or is he the chicken? That's the question.
I think he's the chicken.
I think he's the lobster.
But why I'm saying that is she could want to be with him and interested in seeing where it goes with him, but she could also want to see where it could go with other people. She can want both of those things and see both of those things as options. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily, oh, she doesn't want me if she wants other things. She may not know you. You've only hung out like one time, it sounds like.
And I think it's always so funny whenever you all are like, well, I saw, my ex on a dating app. How did you find out? Well, I logged into the dating app. Like, okay. They probably also saw you in the dating app, And
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's okay. If the two of you are broken up and there's no relationship, that's exclusive and committed and talked about and agreed upon, then all's fair game. It doesn't mean it's not hurtful, of course, if you do see somebody that you care about and wanted a relationship with, but realize that it does go both ways.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go on here. She also messaged me the weekend that she was back drinking with her friends, that she wished I was there. However, I was working all weekend. Well, that's a good sign, saying she wished she was there. She has taken over a day to respond back to me since Sunday, which is a bit out of the usual, but when she replies, I'm planning on setting plans. I also told her to let me know when she's available to get together again, when she was on vacation, which I don't think was a correct way of saying it. I mean, if you're not sure that he said it correctly, just casually invite her out again. Mm-hmm. Part of my question is, has she just been using me for sex, being dishonest, or is it possible she lost interest due to being away and only being able to contact each other over the phone? I don't think it's that. I don't think it has anything to do with being away and going on that vacation. I don't think she's just using him for sex either.
I don't think so.
I think she is kind of interested in you, but we don't know if she sees you as long-term relationship material. It sounds like it was casual years ago when they were hooking up. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's casual now. And a lot of doctors can do casual, right? I mean, I've seen that over the years. A lot of doctors can do that casual type of dating. I don't think she's necessarily being dishonest either. I think she's kind of interested in you, but she's also open to dating other people. She's just finishing her residency. That may free up her time for the first time in years to go out on dates and date other people. And there's always the possibility that she wants to date a doctor, because a lot of doctors want to date a doctor.
That's true.
Because they understand each other's lifestyle and schedule, or, being in that kind of field, they want somebody also like that.
Yeah, it's true. And there is something to be said about social class and, people around you. It doesn't seem like that might be the exact thing. I'm not really seeing any indication that that's necessarily it. But I do agree, this seems like a woman who is focused on her career, prioritizing that, and that's okay. And, maybe at some point a conversation about if that relationship is going in that direction might be worthwhile or helpful. Although I would be careful about, starting that type of a conversation right out the gate. I would like to spend more time with her, see how receptive she is. I also agree. I do think she's being genuine about her missing you, about her wanting to spend time with you, but her not fully being ready to spend every day with you.
Yep. There's a little bit more. You had a couple more questions. How do you go about the situation finding her on the dating app? You don't do anything. Mm-hmm. I don't bring it up. Yeah. And there's no reason to bring it up. Mm-hmm. You guys haven't talked about exclusivity or anything like that. So don't say anything about it.
Right. And that's more of your own feelings to process. I don't think that she's done anything wrong at this point. The two of you haven't agreed on exclusivity. And so at that point, I don't see the purpose of bringing it up to her. Do you expect her to get off of it? Would it be an in on having a deeper conversation about your expectations for the relationship and hers? Maybe, but I wouldn't start in that direction.
He also said, I also noticed that she has disappeared from the dating app and messaged me back saying that she got a new phone. Sounds suspicious to me. Okay, so when I read that, I was feeling like, okay, I think he's got some real insecurities going on here too. Because, I mean, who knows about the dating app? Maybe she deleted the profile, maybe she blocked him so he wouldn't see her. But now he's getting upset saying that it sounds suspicious that she has a new phone. Mm. Like, why would that be suspicious?
Yeah.
That just comes out of nowhere to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you think that it's suspicious that somebody messaged you back and said, I got a new phone?
Right, and it sounded like, the last they spoke was a little bit more than a day ago. I would say just have a little bit more patience here. I can see that your brain is already kind of jumping to some of these conclusions of, oh no, what if she is dating somebody else, or what if she's hiding something from me? I'm curious to hear some of maybe your relationship history, maybe your experiences with dating, and why you're viewing the situation in this way. For me, just reading the story, I'm taking it very face value. This is a woman devoted to her career, making some time for you, missing you, maybe developing feelings at a slow pace, at her own pace. And I would just take things very face value. I don't think there's...
Casual.
Yeah, so much deeper to this. I think you'll find out more the more time you spend with her, but it seems like in total, has it even really been, that long of consistent time together to get a real gauge on what she wants?
I agree, and that's why I'm saying it feels like there's some insecurities going on with him, that he would think that the phone thing sounded suspicious. I don't know why she would make something up about getting a new phone. Like, who would do that? Why would somebody make up, I got a new phone?
I don't know.
There's no reason for her to make up a story like that. So, I don't know. Just odd that he would get that anxious over it. I'd treat it casual, take her out, have fun, see how it goes, see if she mentions looking for something more meaningful or long-term. It doesn't sound like any of those conversations has really come up with you guys since you were casually kind of hooking up here and there. And so you don't know where she's at with things. Treat it casually unless she says she's seeing something otherwise between you or wanting something more.
Right. And I'm also curious, this is just me kind of going a little bit on the deep end here, her reasonings to wanting to become a doctor. For some people, it is driven by their family. It's one of those careers that for some families, it does hold a lot of value. And so I wonder if spending that time on vacation with her family, maybe her family has certain ideas about what kind of partners she should be with in the future. Just going back to that comment about, him being in this field that's less prestigious as hers and what that may mean, possibly.
Yep.
That might be something that's there. I know for a lot of ambitious people, they also want partners that are ambitious, and that's the real important part. Not so much about where in your career line you are, but just the fact that you are working towards a goal, towards something, towards improving yourself.
Yeah. And he has a decent career. It's not that he doesn't have a decent career. It's
and a
just
much
that
needed career in society, I'll say that.
Yeah, it's just that with doctors, they have a different kind of thinking many times about what they're wanting and what they're looking for. And a lot of times it's like they want to be with another doctor. So.
And I've also heard that, a lot of people during medical school or their residency, in establishing their career, everything else gets put on hold. And you don't know how many clients that I've talked to that are now, a little bit older now that they've gone through school and have had these educational experiences that they're like, I don't know how to date. I don't even know what I want. I don't know what to do. And just this sense of feeling lost. So she might be in this more of an exploratory stage in her life. I don't know how long you've been settled in your career, but it sounds like it's something that, has been maybe set for some time and that you will be set for some time. So that stability can make a difference in your readiness for different types of relationships.
Yeah. At this point, just leave her be and set up fun, casual dates, having a great time, and see how it goes. Try not to overthink it. Try to just be okay with dating casually until she brings up something more or suggests something more. And stop analyzing every little detail right now, because I think it's going to just make you more anxious and stressed. All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you need.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.